BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform. Michael Turner, what is the world betting on this week?
Well, they should be betting on the Falcons. We are 6-point favorites this week. The over-under is 46 and a half. That might be a strong under on that bet. If you want to bet on the win for the Falcons, we are on pace to cover the 9.5 over under on Falcon win total for this 2024 football season.
All right, that sounds good. Hey, Bernard Turner doesn't make any mistakes, so if y'all want to bet Michael, you know what Mike says.
Right.
Welcome to a special episode of Believe in Falcons. I'm Ovie and Michael. You have Michael Turner, and we have the greatest coach for me and Mike personally in our career. I think we can say that pretty Coach Mike Mularkey, the offensive coordinator of the Falcons back when me and Mike played, and the guy who kind of kicked off me and Mike's careers, because if he was one of those, let's go 5 wide receivers, 7 wide receivers, let's go and throw the ball a whole bunch, he wouldn't be here. Like, I wouldn't be a 2-time All-Pro player. Mike wouldn't be a Pro Bowl player. We'd probably be somewhere forgotten in history. But Mike Mularkey said, I'm going to run the gosh dang ball with Ovie and Mike, and gave us a chance to show the world what we can do. And so, Coach, thank you for the house I'm living in now, and thank you for the I've had. But no, thank you for coming on and Believe in Falcons, because obviously you're real special to me in my careers as a coach and as a friend. And you're an offensive mastermind. You've been a head coach, been an OC, done everything. And as a Falcons OC, you probably have some thoughts about what the Falcons are doing and have been doing and are going to do, because it's been great, man. The Mercedes-Benz Stadium has not had a lot of reasons to cheer, but the last couple of times, we've been doing some amazing stuff, man. Just watching Falcons football. What are your thoughts so far on the Falcons?
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me on your podcast, and thank you for helping me get to this house, because
we have to too. It was mutual.
Yeah, you guys had a lot to do with that too. I mean, you guys led me into another head coaching job, so that certainly helped. But no, it's been fun to watch him. I'm a big fan of Raheem Morris. I got a chance to coach with Raheem in 2019 when I was with Atlanta. I remember I came back a second time.
That's right.
Coached the tight ends and worked with Raheem. Really, at that year, he was on both sides of the ball. He was a receivers coach to start the year, and then he ended up, defensively at the end of the year. I think he's very smart football coach, not just defensively, but a really good football coach, a really good motivator. Players love playing for him. So I can see why, guys are rallying around him. I can see why, it's not just the quarterback, but, you got a coach that has a whole team that believes in what's going on around them. And that gives them the opportunity to win at any point, in these games, which, I thought we had a lot of that when we had Matt. We never thought we were out of the game, regardless of the score, until the final clock ticked. And that's kind of the way these guys are playing right now. And but I think a lot of that starts with Raheem. He's got a very good staff, but it also helps when you got a quarterback, and the quarterback's coming around. I think, just in time, because people were questioning the move and the money and all that stuff. But over the years, he has shown he is one of those guys. He's like Matt. He's a guy that teammates will follow, and it's showing up.
Yeah. So what are the things going into this game? Like going to this game against Carolina, it's like, what do you think will be the key factors of them for winning this weekend?
Don't go in thinking it's going to be a cakewalk. That's the first. You guys know that. As soon as you start thinking, you got a W before you step on the field, that's your worst nightmare. So they got to be locked and loaded and laser focused for 4 quarters, and put a beat down on this team, which they're capable of doing if they go in with the right mindset. I promise you the coaches don't change, when they look at a team that's struggling, and change their plans. And it's full speed ahead. And every one of these games is important. You cannot have a letdown in a game you should win.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. It's crazy because you see at every level. I mean, you can go to college and look at Vanderbilt beating Alabama when it shouldn't have happened. Like, there is no safe game in college, the NFL, no matter how good you think you are, how bad you think you are, especially in the NFL, everyone's good. And so it's very hard because the Panthers are really not good right now. They're one of the bottom basement teams, but with Andy Dalton and with the ability for them to play at a high level at any single point, and it being a division game, as you know, division games, Saints have had their bad years, and we're like, even me and Mike and maybe you, like the Saints aren't good this year. We're going to beat them easily, and they still make it a close game.
Absolutely. That's the division, and really, if you think about it, Carolina is always it's always a tough game. I mean, it's a physical game against those guys. They have new hope with Andy Dalton starting, so they believe they have chances now. I'm not sure they did before. But it's, it is a division game. That's always plays a factor in close knit games. So you can't take it lightly, this game at all.
Right. So what would you be telling the team? Because we got a couple of like high, like end of the game wins, very emotional wins. Always from last Thursday. How do you keep that momentum going?
You guys know. Those kind of games take a toll on you mentally, physically. You got to overcome them. Even though you win, it's still a physical toll on the body and the mind. And players just have to get back on track. And like I said earlier, you got to like my message. I'm sure Raheem is locked in with the message of, this is a team we should beat. Mm-hmm. They have new life with this quarterback, so they think they can beat you. And it's a division game, and all division games are tough games to win.
Yeah, especially on the road.
It's hard to win the NFL, but it's even harder in your division, and it's even harder when it's on the road. There's a lot of things that can point to an upset if they let it happen. But I'm positive Raheem will have these guys prepared. I know him.
Right.
I want to jump into the running back strategy because you dealt with this a little bit different, but you have two great running backs for the Falcons. You have, of course, Bijan Robinson, and you have Tyler Allgeier. And Tyler Allgeier, I talked about it every single episode because I feel for this guy. The man had a 1,000-yard season, was like, I'm going to get the bulk of the carries the next year. I'm going to be the guy. I proved to them that I can be good enough to play. And while he's sitting at home, relaxing, watching the draft, he's going to have one heck of a season. They draft in the first round, not his replacement, but another running back, Bijan Robinson, that's now going to take away his carries. And because Tyler Allgeier is such an amazing human being and so centered and grounded, had a chance to sit with him at a Walter Payton Man of the Year award event where him and his lady and me and my wife were all just talking, and just a genuine guy. I knew he's going to take it in stride, but still, the competitor in you wants to show everybody who felt like you needed another running back that he still got it. And several games, when he comes in there, he runs angry. He runs hard. And then Bijan, because he's a first rounder, they've been pushing the majority of the carries to him. Should they be switching that to Tyler Allgeier, or do you have to you're in bed with Bijan because he's the first rounder, you have to give him the majority of the carries? How do you do that 1-2 punch? Who's one, who's two, or is it 50-50? How do you work that with a guy who's a little more like Jarius Norwood and a guy who's like Michael Turner?
Mm-hmm. It's a tough balancing act. I've had to deal with it a couple times. My most recent was when I was the head coach in Tennessee. In my first year, we had just traded for DeMarco Murray, who had led the league in rushing when he was with Dallas. He led the NFC when he was with Philly. We traded to get DeMarco Murray. And then a month later, the draft comes up, and we're sitting there because we were the worst team in the NFL the year before. We traded the number one pick. We ended up getting 3 second-round picks with a variety of other picks involved. But with that third pick in the second round, Derrick Henry sitting there staring us in the face. And I'm like, we got DeMarco Murray here. And, GM looked at me and goes, what do you think? I said, well, I like to run the ball.
Yeah.
I'll run it 50 times a game. I mean, yes. I'm going to run it for sure. I'm going to run it for sure 30 times. I promise. So you can never have enough good backs. So, I called DeMarco before we made the pick, but we picked Derrick Henry, and the rest is history.
Yeah,
DeMarco handled it like a pro, just like what's going on there with those two backs in Atlanta. It's not a bad thing to have a 1-2 punch like we had with Michael and Jarius back in our days together. It's not bad. It's not a bad mix-up, and I don't think you can ever, especially with the beatings these guys take, you guys take,
right,
to have two guys that can be at full strength, 1-2, the whole game. So I don't think it's a negative. I think they're handling it well.
they are,
and they got a lot of weapons on that offense. I mean, they got a lot of weapons that it's tough to distribute the ball. I know one thing we did too when I was there with you guys. And one thing you cannot get caught up is trying to appease one player. He's not getting enough. I need to get the ball over to this guy. I did that one time when I was the coordinator for the Steelers, and I was catching grief because I had Hines Ward, Plexico Burris, Jerome Bettis, and I was catching grief because Plexico Burris wasn't getting the ball enough. And so now I had a guy on my right side, quality control coach. I'm saying, all right, tell me how many catches this guy has or how many times we've targeted.
Man,
I did it one game, and it didn't work. I called plays when I was a coordinator. I called plays to win the game, not to force the ball to any one particular player. We even having Tony Gonzalez with us and Roddy and who. I mean, we had a lot of weapons. You guys, we had you guys too, but it was about the play. And then, when it all comes down to it, it all balanced out every year that I did it that way, running and passing. Guys got, we had 1,000-yard rusher, we had 1,000-yard receivers, and Matt 3,000-yard passing, 4,000. So it all worked out with me trying not trying to dictate who's going to get the ball when and where. I don't think that's going on in Atlanta. They just got two good running backs.
Well, time out, Coach. I don't know if it all worked out. There was an Ovie and Michael that was kind of pissed off that he didn't get enough carries. I didn't get enough catches. I was this close every day knocking the door like, hey, Mularkey, hey, forget that.
I remember.
Forget Gonzalez. Me, I need the ball. Me.
Right.
The one thing I'm most proud of is that I use guys to whatever their ability was. That's what they were going to do.
You're right.
Yours was blowing up linebackers.
You're right. Right.
I really try to. There's like a wheel around. Go ahead.
You gave a bone one time. Who gave you that touchdown? Was it Mike Mularkey or was it
Mike in the Pro Bowl? I have a picture back here. I turn my computer around. A Pro Bowl touchdown spike from me, and that to Coach Mike Mularkey, 100%. You, Mike, actually helped with that too because you did not get that. They gave it to you near the goal line. You fell at the 1-yard line. So thank you, Mike. And so I said, I look back at Coach at the sideline. I was like, please call fullback dive. Please call fullback dive. Like 31 dive. Like, yes, let's go. And I ran that 1 yard as if I was running to save the end of the world.
Yeah, I knew you could get a yard.
Oh yeah, and the people, the defense were so upset. Like, why are you going so hard? I was running there like it was a Super Bowl. I'm like, if I get this, I might not ever get a chance to do it again. Now I can say I scored the first touchdown in the 2011 Pro Bowl. Not Tony Gonzalez, not all Russell Wilson or Drew Brees, not all these big time stars. Me, I did. From Little Charleston, South Carolina. So thank you, Coach.
Yeah, making memories. That's what we did.
Making memories.
And you can have it, because we want an official stat, so it is not on your record.
Hey, official in my book. The ball's there. The picture's there. It's official in my book. But
I'm just glad for you I wasn't on the 2-yard line.
Yeah, me too. It would have been.
I'm pretty sure the guy to your left would have gotten
it. I'm happy that it ended up the way it ended up. But speaking of official, I mean, is this Falcons team official? Are we legit? Have you seen enough to say that we're a team that is, dare I say, Super Bowl worthy? People have talked about us being a dark horse Super Bowl team if we can get all our stuff together. And me and Mike were pretty excited before the season. And I was saying that, hey, before we got Simmons, before we got Judon, with Kirk Cousins alone, with all of our weapons, this is a team that can win our division and go to the playoffs. Then we got Simmons and Judon. I said, now we got some defensive pieces. We might win a playoff game and be a dark horse to win a Super Bowl. Is that crazy talk? I mean, as a coach, as an OC, someone who's in this league, is that something that's possible for the Falcons?
Well, you have hope when you've won some of the games that you've won, like you've won them. I don't know if Super Bowl.
I'm trying to slow him down a little bit.
If you look at the NFC, there's really not. Maybe the Lions. I can't think of another team I can think of that's really going to dominate the NFC. So yeah, maybe that's a good point, Ovie. There's not a lot of, you're talking 49ers now. They're 2-3. They're struggling without some of their big pieces. There's a chance. But it's still early in this. There's a lot of football. A lot of football to go. But I know if I'm Raheem, I'm not talking anything but about the Carolina Panthers.
Period. Right. Yeah. That brings me one memory. Back in 2008, we was coming in, just getting started. One of the first meetings you said, you was like, we got them right where we want them. Like nobody's expecting anything out of us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was like,
I remember that.
Do you remember like some of that magic that was forming, and that was like, okay, this team can be something, because we didn't know where we was going to be going into that season.
Well, if you remember, that's when Coach Petrino had just left the current team, left them handwritten, not handwritten, but form note. Hey, I'm Darth, I'm leaving. And then Michael Vick had just gone through all the things going on, so the team really was in a disarray when we got there in 2008. I mean, really. And I remember I didn't talk to the team, but I do remember talking to the offense, and I said to the coaching staff, I said, these guys don't trust us right now. Before we can teach them a play, we got to teach them they can trust us. And when we say we're going to do things, we got to do it. And I remember standing in front of you guys like, this is the way we're going to do things. And if you don't do it this way, we're going to find somebody that will. Harvey Dahl's a perfect example. He did it the way we wanted to do it.
Love Harvey.
Right.
Slip Harvey in, and because he's going to do it the way we want to do it. And but the biggest key, and I think that had a lot to do with when Raheem got there again, was building a trust amongst the players that they can trust this coaching staff to put them in the right position to win games every week. And I think that they're still doing it. It's a process, but it was not easy. But that was really important for me with that staff in Atlanta to make sure you guys know you could trust us.
Right. And winning those tough games, emotional games, is like that's building that momentum, but it's really building a team. That's like, okay, we are something, we are special. We can trust each other to make the big plays when we need it.
Yeah.
You guys did that. I mean, it was amazing. Matt had a big part in it, obviously, but everybody, and all I can speak of is offensively, because that's being the OC for you guys, was everybody just believed in each other. I mean, it was amazing to watch you guys operated. I never thought we didn't have a chance to win with the guys we had on that offense. Never doubted our ability to win a game and close games. And we won a lot of close games.
Right. Was it one game in 2008 that you remember that like got us over the hump? Like you like, all right, we special.
The first one was great. The fact that okay, I had to get it.
The first one was because I couldn't wait to unload the key play, 34 and 35 key, because no one had seen that kind of concept of faking faking like a bootleg and actually not blocking the end man on the line. I think, Michael, you ran for 200 yards that game, first game. We killed Detroit. Matt threw his first touchdown on his first pass. That kind of kick-started us. But, Matt, I think it was the Chicago game, threw a bench route. They squib kicked it. Harry took a knee. Matt hit one play, kicked the field goal to beat Chicago. There were there's a lot of games when we were together for those 4 years, but those come to mind right away.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's the game that Matt grew up. Like it was like, okay, because man, I can just remember that pass in the air, man. It's like it was like the perfect area for him, for Michael Jenkins to catch it on the sideline.
Zero strong, 62 Comet sink.
Yeah, it was like the perfect throw, and I'm like, oh man, that's amazing. Like
it's one of the toughest throws in football to throw a skinny post because all you're doing is you're throwing it to a spot. And that guy, Mike Jenks, he had to be at that spot, and he was right on it. For your first pass in the NFL, that was pretty special. But I don't know if you remember. I don't even know if you guys knew this. When we drafted Matt, Mike Smith came in and he says, in training camp, we're going to rotate the quarterbacks. And I'm like, no, why are we doing that when we know Matt Ryan's going to be our starting quarterback? So every practice they rotated, so finally when Matt finally got into the huddle for the very first time with you guys, with the starters, it was 21 personnel. Ovie, you're in there. Mike T, you're in there. And the play was called zero, which is I right in today's world, but it was I right, act two, go. Both, you guys doing the faking and hopefully picking up the blitz for Matt. And what I'll never forget is when I called the play to Matt, and Matt walked in the huddle. He looked across at Roddy White and he said, "Hey, Roddy, go get this mother trucker."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, I had a chill go down. I'm like, oh my God, I think we have one. I mean, I'm not sure he's going to complete it, but those guys in the huddle think he is. I mean, and that's the thing about Matt. When he would present the play in the huddle, you guys believe this. Ooh, what a good play call, Matt. Yeah. When he did it the very first time, and he looked Roddy, the veteran receiver, and told him to go get it, I was like, I think we have someone special. So, and we did.
Man, it was great, Coach, seeing you at Matt Ryan's Ring of Honor dinner or event at the Buckhead Theater, and seeing everybody. And it was long. It was 3 hours talking about Matt, but
we got to talk to Harry about that one.
It was long. Harry did a great job, and I learned things about Matt that I didn't know from his high school quarterback days and everything else. But one thing that Matt did say was that the culture and the environment that you helped create in that Falcons locker room helped him be who he needed to be. And it was great because, like you mentioned, the trust part, you coaches were very intentional about making sure that the players understood that we're on the same team. You're here to help us. There's no type of gotcha moments. Like, those who work hard and can get the job done will play, because there's a lot of politics in football. As you know, and as you probably dealt with, the politics is insane. It drives me crazy when I watch TV today. I'm like, that guy's clearly better than that guy, or this guy's clearly better than that guy, but they're not playing because of the owner doing this and the draft position and that, and the free agent got a bunch of money. And so, thank you for just being just regular, genuine, authentic dude. What you see is what you get. And, that helped me, and obviously me and Mike in our career, to really let go of any type of, walls we had and say, you know what, coach says it, I believe it. Let's go. Let's get it.
You describe the NFL to a T. I mean, it's funny because young coaches ask me even today, how did you become a head coach 3 times in the NFL? And I said, well, there's really 2 routes to get to that position. One is you really work hard and you really do good at what you're doing, and you'll get recognized and you'll move up the ladder because you're good at what you do. The other one is it's finagling your way, it's cutthroat, it's taking out even a good friend out of your way, whatever way. And, both ways are equally successful. It just depends on how do you want to get to that position. Mine was, I just want to be good at what I do. And the best thing about that is I could be myself in front of the players. And players know when a guy is phony or, not legit. And you guys have been around them. I've been around a lot of them. I've hired some of them, which by mistake. But yeah, it's a cutthroat business, and if you don't realize that, you can get caught up in it. So I tell coaches, just put your head down, do your work, and you got guys staying in the office thinking that impresses people late at night. That didn't impress me. That told me you couldn't manage time.
Wow.
But yeah, I was very, very proud with the way I did things for, I coached for 25 years. And I think you guys saw that. And, I was fortunate. I had a lot of success with you guys, the Steelers, Tennessee, just by doing it the right way. And that's not a hard thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Well, for the Falcons to have success against the Panthers, we got to do a couple things right. But Kirk distributed the ball last game against the Bucs to 5 different receivers for over 65 yards. Cardale Hodge, love this young man who got a chance to be the hero of the team because Drake London got hurt. And it's about, being ready for your opportunity. But with all these options that we have, the Bijans, the Allgeiers, Ray McLeod, Darnell Mooney, who's a surprise number 2, playing like a number 1, of course, Drake London, and our boy Kyle Pitts.
Yes, get the tight end, please.
Yeah, the tight end. Gonzalez, you had some great tight ends. How do we get Kyle Pitts to do what he did last game, which I think 88 yards is the most he's had all season? Because before he only had 3 targets, and people were wondering why is he not doing more. I'm like, the man had 3 targets. What do you want him to do if he's 0 for 3? That's part of it. Probably is Kyle Pitts too, but I feel like the coaches could have done more. And they did it. They did it last game. They could have done more all season to be intentional about getting Kyle Pitts the ball. You said you don't want to force it, but if you have a guy who's a number 4 pick overall, highest tight end to ever be picked, and you're not trying to at least force him the ball and get him involved, isn't that a problem? How do you get Kyle Pitts more involved consistently?
Yeah, I think he is. I really think he's a good football player. I mean, I watched him at Florida. Go Gators. I just, it's a tough situation because there are so many tools and weapons that you have available. I don't know the offensive system. I don't know how it works. I know ours was balanced to where guys are Julio, Mike Jenks, Tony, Gonzalez. They're going to get their piece of the pie just based on the way the coverage, a lot of it's the offense, and I really don't know the system that they're running there. I couldn't tell you of why he's not getting more targets, but I know he's certainly capable of beating a lot of defenders with his size and speed. He's a special player.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I think one thing you can do is run the football better. And open up Kyle Pitts. So, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
they're right there.
That in itself will distribute the ball even more. I go back to my Pittsburgh day, my first year as a coordinator. Really, my first day after I got the coordinator job, I pulled Hines Ward into my office, and I'm not going to take credit for Hines Ward's toughness because he's a tough football player. But I told him, I said, you don't want to tell a receiver. And you got to remember, they tried to replace him 2 years in a row with number 1 picks as receivers, but Hines kind of just stuck around there. I said, Hines, I'm going to give you some good and bad news. The bad news is I like to run the football. Receiver looking at you like, well, why am I in here? And I said, because I have a theory, and here's my theory. If we run the ball, Hines, and you block, and I told the same thing to Roddy White when I got there. We're going to run the ball and you block. We're going to make first downs. And if we make first downs, we get to keep the ball. And if we get to keep the ball, we get to throw the ball more. And if we get to throw the ball more, you get to catch it more. But the less you do of the first, less you'll have of the last. You will have. And he kind of looked at me, and I almost saw a light bulb go off. Like, wait a second, now that makes a lot of sense. So that year, Hines broke the Steelers' all-time receiving record. I think he had 93 catches. His biggest year before that was 60 something. He broke the record by 20 receptions, and we were the number 1 rushing team in the NFL. The next year he caught 115 passes, and we were the number 2 rushing team in the NFL. So it does all go together. Those receivers, if they got their stuff together and they blocked like Roddy did, and E. Weems and Jenks, it opens up. It provides more plays. It controls the ball. It helps your defense. I mean, there's so many things that can go into it if those guys will block in the run game.
Right. And that's the one thing I like about your coaching style. Like, you don't say everything directly. You got to give them a story.
Yeah. I do. I do.
Yeah, but
I want to paint a picture.
You're right. So that was the beauty of it. But I honestly, I knew I was getting the ball, but I just wanted to.
I know you don't know how you got there, Mike, but when my first meeting with Mike Smith in the scouting department, they're like, "What do you need to make this?" And I had Jerome Bettis, a Hall of Famer. I said, "Well, free agency wise, I either want Peyton Manning or Michael Turner," knowing there was no way they're going to get Peyton Manning. They're like, well, I guess we'll have to go get Michael Turner.
Backup plan.
But that's I knew we weren't getting Peyton. But
that's a good shopping list. That's a good shopping list.
Yeah.
So you came in, coach, and just to get this straight, you could choose any running back in free agency, and you told them you wanted Michael Turner from San Diego.
Yes, I am the one. Yeah, because he and LaDainian, they weren't splitting time. Michael's, I thought his reps were limited. So I knew he was kind of getting somewhat of a fresh back, but the way he ran, reminded me a lot of Jerome. And had a lot of success with Jerome. I figured if I can find somebody like him, and it worked out pretty darn good.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it. Because I remember our first meeting.
I was the one that said we got to go get Michael Turner.
Yeah, because that's the first tapes you showed me in the meeting room. Like, you was like, "We're gonna be running stuff like this." Like, y'all was recruiting me.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, you showed them Pittsburgh Steelers tapes. Like, I want you
that didn't work. That didn't work for everybody, because I did the same thing for Tony Gonzalez, and he said, "Why are you showing me your tight end?"
Why are you showing me this? I'm Tony Gonzalez. Hey, I'm Tony Gonzalez. Hey,
Hall of Fame.
No, he said to me, he said to me right to my face, and this is about the first 5 minutes he was in the building. He looked right at me. He goes, "I don't block the power play." And I wasn't looking at it, but I did a double tag. I said, "What'd you just say to me?" He goes, I don't block power." I said, "Well, we run power." He goes, "Well, haven't you seen me on tape? I line up like a wide receiver out there." And I go, "Haven't you seen us on tape? You're going to you're going to line up next to the tackle." He goes, "Like a tight end?"
No, like a tight end.
Yes, you are. So I never, if you were game planning us, pretty safe. Don't overload Tony's side in the run game. I'm pretty.
Oh man, that's great.
Yeah, I accidentally, like year 4, called power, not realizing Tony was in the huddle, and you guys all broke the huddle, and Tony stood in the huddle and looked way up at the press box at me like. But if it was 4th and 4, I was going to throw the ball to Tony Gonzalez.
That's
I'm no dummy. Good time, good memories.
Good memories, yeah, man. Oh, Tony Gonzalez, man, great dude, great guy, great teammate.
Absolutely, Coach. I know you're on the defensive side of the ball, but you schemed against defenses a lot. So maybe you can help the Falcons fans understand how we can do something that we've had trouble with. The whole Falcons lore or legend, or the series of Falcons football be going on. We have not had a great guy to go after the quarterback, like rushing the ball. I mean, getting the quarterback sacked has not been our thing since John Abraham. And even this year, we're like the worst in the league at doing that. And we got Judon to help out. Of course, we got Grady Jarrett, and you got Onyemata, and AK and some other guys, but we're just not getting home. Like, how do the Falcons get better at that pivotal part of the game?
That's hard if you don't have one of them. I mean, that's
you gotta get one of those guys.
Abe was the first guy I was thinking of. I can't remember, because when I was there, even in 19, we just didn't have one guy, a game wrecker. Like an Aiden Hutchinson from the Lions.
Oh my gosh. It was crazy.
You talk about having a game plan. That's game plan. So what happens offensively, with us, if we felt like one of our guys was going to struggle, we're going to put somebody over there in front of him, chip him, bang him, whatever the term was, based on who was going to do it. I don't see that happening. I see receivers just free release and backs free releasing, because there's really no threat unless an offensive player is that weak, an offensive tackle or something that's not capable of blocking even just a good pass rusher. But that's what I see. I see I see no game planning of having to keep guys in and getting them out late. And that, when you got 4 guys going vertical right off the bat, that puts stress on your secondary.
Yeah.
And you got backs free releasing and tight ends free releasing. That puts a strain on everybody in that coverage, especially if you are going to blitz. Now you got even less help in the secondary. So yeah, that's a problem. I mean, I don't know how you fix it in the middle of a season.
Yeah, you have to get those guys, and we could scheme. Like we had a couple of sacks where I think Mike Hughes or Alford got a sack because we had the safeties, slot guys moving and making things happen. But it'd be great if somebody just showed up or somebody kind of just took their play to the next level. It'd be great. And Judon has done amazing things. It's just he has to consistently do that. And because they know he's our best chance to get to the quarterback, they make sure that he does not do so. So I just want that piece of the Falcons defense to raise the level of play, because it makes it easier for us to win. But even if we don't, we got Jesse Bates, fellow Wake Forest Demon Deacon. I don't know if you heard, Coach. I got to the Wake Forest Hall of Fame finally. So now me and Mike, Hall of Famers, are college. Mike got that immediately. It took me 20 years, but as a fullback, it's a little bit harder to see achievements. So,
and you probably didn't lobby for that at all.
Oh, I lobbied. I had to lobby. I had to go, hey, Ovie and Michael for Hall of Fame. Ovie and Michael Hall of Fame. I didn't line.
No, congratulations. That's cool.
You got to throw that in there.
They got to get somebody that can consistently win one-on-ones.
Yeah.
Consistently, I can game plan for Grady because, I can slide it to a defensive tackle. It's those outside guys that, if you don't need to have help with them and you can free release everybody, then you got problems.
Right.
Absolutely. Coach, a couple of things before we get you out of here. We want to understand what your journey when you came to the Falcons. You came from the Jaguars, right? You were head coach there?
No, I went to Jacksonville after.
With Jacksonville. You were with Tennessee before.
I was in Miami before.
With
Coach Saban, and that was probably one of my, going back to Pee Wee football, one of my worst experiences was coaching for Coach Saban.
Oh,
wow.
You don't want to be an offense coordinator for Coach Saban. You've seen him on the sideline where his jugular veins are sticking out, screaming into a headphone. Well, I know who he's talking to.
Where did your love of running the ball come from? Because obviously, again, me and Mike were the recipients of that love for running the ball. And not just your love for running it, but you were very good at creating schemes and finding personnel and finding a way to get each player's best to be, shown on the field. Where did that come from? Who taught you that? How were you able to bring that all together?
Well, a lot of that, my playing days when I played for the Steelers, we ran the ball pretty heavy. And then, when I became the coordinator, really I was a tight ends coach in Pittsburgh for 5 years. And I just kind of watched, the philosophy of the coordinators before me. And there was 3 coordinators before me. I kept putting my name in and just to let them know I was interested in being a coordinator. I didn't want them to think that was not my intent. I wanted to move up, but I watched as these other coordinators threw the ball around the field, and we did not have a lot of success. When I got to be the coordinator, I committed that I'm going to run the football, and I like deception. I like personnel groupings, motion shifts, changing strengths multiple. I just like, those are things you can do in the run game, and it's easier to match up things in the passing game with your run game than vice versa. And I just think, that was my philosophy: run the ball, play good defense, get in third down makeables, don't make a lot of mistakes. That's one thing I'm proud of our offenses and our teams. We were one of the least penalized teams in the NFL.
Yep.
Wherever I was, just because we were at a disciplined guys playing, and and the system was user friendly. It was guys could pick it up, new guys could come in and pick it up, but it was all deception, making you think one thing and it was actually the other thing happening, like the key play Michael, made
Love
famous.
I love that play.
They bring it back. But
Right.
all those things, but when it all came down to the end of the day, it was about, my personal feeling was, it was about you pummeling and beating your opponent
Yes.
physically into the ground. And you can't do that. Hard to do that dropping back 7 steps.
Right.
Tackles past. It's hard to sit there and talk physical football and not run the ball. So they both go hand in hand, and I think players actually had fun watching it. I know Mondays were fun.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun, especially in slow motion watching some of these hits, and like it hurt me, probably hurt Mike, probably hurt you as well, against the Kansas City Chiefs to beat the 2-time defending Super Bowl champions. We had a 4th and inches situation, and we ended up going sideways, whether it was a call or Kirk switched it up at the line. Either way, I would think as an offensive lineman, you would be furious if you're not saying it's 4th and inches, quarterback sneak, fullback dot. Well, they don't have a fullback, but tailback.
So that's a problem.
That's a problem. No fullback.
Yeah, 4th and inches, and you're running sideways with Allgeier and Bijan. It made me and the rest of Falcons Nation like, what are we doing? And I'm like, if Mularkey was there, it would never have happened.
When I watch teams get into 4th and 1s and the quarterback going the shotgun, I want to vomit. I mean, that's not a mindset. It's a physical. I give the Eagles credit. They're going to pile up and push the quarterback, and everybody in the stadium knows what they're going to do, and they do it.
You can't stop it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't stop it. And
right.
Sometimes you can overthink things and think you're outsmarting the defender, but you got to be careful. I mean, it's inches, it's a yard. What do you got to do to get it? So,
some of those situations we had, you put me at fullback and give me the little belly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You did do that.
Yeah, you're right. You got to be creative, man. It's not that hard. You got to overthink things sometimes.
No, I mean, if you
do that with Allgeier can be like me, it could be the same guy.
Exactly. I mean, if you don't think that makes defenses have to be on the ball of who is where and when and how and what happens when he's there. I mean, I had Finn line up as a fullback, if you remember.
Yeah, right.
And like, what's the wide receiver? I mean, why they're having this discussion on the other side of the line of scrimmage? Why is 86 the receiver in a 3-point stance in the back? why they're deciphering that the ball snapped and it's too late. I mean, catching guys flat-footed, like even if you remember the game, I think it was against the Rams, we had a trap to Jarius.
Yeah.
And I think it was you, Jarius, and Matt were in the backfield, and Matt was going to line up because we weren't sure what Jarius knew what a 3 technique was. So Matt, so we were going to trap the 3. So Matt went to the side of where the 3 technique was, and he was standing behind the tackle with his hands giving the cadence in the 2, and we're going to direct snap it to Jarius on the trap.
Yeah.
But Matt could go to either side just to let Jarius know, he's on my left, so I'm running it left.
You're right.
But the two linebackers for the Rams they both do one of these pointing different in ball snap, and the trap comes, and Jarius went for 33-yard touchdown. Why Matt Ryan is standing behind the left tackle giving the cadence.
Right.
Things like that. It's such a simple. We could run trap in our sleep, but we just found a different way to run it and be deceptive with the same kind of play.
I love it.
Same medicine, still effective.
Yeah.
You coaching now, coaching your grandkids? You do anything else?
I'm helping. I handed a couple of, I call them special plays, trick plays. I handed my grandson, my oldest is 9 years old, and I came in with a folder to the practice and I go, here's a couple ideas for you guys, And,
if you want it, I'm just an NFL head coach, OC, but hey.
That was kind of good. I kind of know.
I was all right.
Yeah, I think they appreciate it. I don't know if, it may have been a little advanced for a 9-year-old playing flag football. It's certainly, they were deceptive. I know that.
That's great. My son's 9 years old too right now. He's playing flag football. His mother won't let him play tackle until middle school. She says that he's got more than enough time. He wants to.
That's true.
I hear him, but me personally, my son probably the biggest guy there, and so the rest of the people need to worry about their health. My son is.
There's plenty of time.
Yeah, he's got time. He's got time.
No, I've been asked to help out, but I was even doing a podcast a couple of years ago here in Jacksonville. And I just found myself, the guy that talked me into it. He says it's not going to take any time. We'll do it Tuesdays and Thursdays for an hour. And I found myself Monday nights for 3 hours preparing. Wait a second. I don't want to schedule. I don't want to be, because I wasn't going to go in, unprepared, just like you guys aren't, for an hour or two, whatever it was. And I just found myself, I like my life now, no schedules, do what I want to do, go see the grandkids. We have one of them, I have 5 of them. One of them's going to be here today at some point. I mean, that's just the way it is. But no, I'm very blessed. I got my family. They live here and they're close, and I just no schedules for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, congrats, Coach. You earned that retirement. You worked your butt off and did some great things in the NFL world. And
I was very blessed to have guys like you, want to do it the right way and have fun and come into work every day with the right attitude. There's probably about a dozen guys that didn't do that, and they probably don't care for me very much. I didn't let them. I let them know how I felt about it, and and that's okay. But I have a lot more players like you that I've had a chance to continue a relationship with, even after all these years apart. So it's kind of cool.
Well, we appreciate you, Coach. Before we get out of here, we got to give our sponsor some love. Cherry Bundy. This is a recovery drink that my son has actually fallen in love with. My 9-year-old and my 12-year-old volleyball girl and my 15-year-old softball child, they drink these to get back on the field, on the court, because it helps them recover it. And I've been taking it as well because I don't play football anymore, but I still try to work out so I can stay in shape because, believe it or not, I was 325 pounds last year. And I went to a Ravens game, and it was Ray, Ed, Todd Heap, Jonathan Ogden, and my tailback Jamal Lewis who gave me crap. They just played into me. And I was just like, you know what? Never, ever again am I coming back. So I've been working out hard. I went to Orange Theory Fitness, and I went to this hot yoga and, got, some shots and took care of it. But the workouts are so hard that I take Cherry Bundy to get back in shape or to get back on the just back on the treadmill. It's helped out, but it's been great. But what's greater is having one of our favorite coaches on the podcast to talk some football, to reminisce. Maybe on our Super Bowl run, we'll have you back, Coach. Talk about how get all the way there. How far did you get to the Super Bowl? Were you on a Super Bowl team?
No, I did not. I made it to 3 championship games. One as a player, one as an assistant coach, and one as a coordinator. But I did not get to the big show. That was why I was in it. That's why I got into coaching, because I didn't play 9 years, never went, got close one time. And I thought, well, my only other opportunity to get a Super Bowl ring would be to coach. And so that was my number one goal. Always was.
Well, you're better than me, Coach. I went to the playoffs 5 times, 3 with the Falcons, twice with the Ravens, and I never won a playoff game. I repeat, I've never won a playoff game.
They're hard to do. They are hard to win.
With Matt Ryan, his first year, 2008, we lost that playoff game to, I think, the Cardinals or something. And then in 2010, we lost against Aaron Rodgers. That's the year we should have won.
All the teams we lost to won the Super Bowl. I don't know if you
realize. Or went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And so in 2011, the lost to the Giants. That was my last year playing football. Got that knee injury. And it was rough, man, because I was like, I want an opportunity to just at least taste what a Super Bowl is like. And never got that chance. But Mike, did you get to a playoff win at least? No.
Oh yeah, I've been to the championship game twice.
With the Chargers.
With the Chargers, one with the Chargers and one with the Falcons, and losing that game after being so close.
Hurt so much.
Yeah, it's not all what it's cracked up to be. You can win a Super Bowl or you can win a playoff game like I did in Tennessee and be fired a week later.
Or you can be you can be an all-pro fullback and then be fired a year later. And
how does that happen?
You were in that room, Coach. You drafted Brady Ewing to replace me. I'm not going to hold it against you. I don't think I got it. But I was sitting at home coming off my Pro Bowl. Yeah, that little knee injury. And y'all drafted Brady Ewing to replace me. I'm just like, where is the love? Where is the loyalty?
Oh. Didn't you get your knee hurt on a flat route?
I did. It was a flat route. And
it was saw tackled you when you couldn't see you. I tried to get that tackle. Every year I was at the owners' meeting, I tried to get that tackle outlawed because you can't see the defender coming. As soon as you catch the ball before you turn up, he's going to he's sawing your legs out from underneath. You can't protect yourself.
It was done.
I lost you. I lost my fullback in Pittsburgh. Same way.
It was done. So, Mike, you got anything else for Coach before we get him out of here?
No, man. This is one I appreciate you, Coach. Good catching up with you.
Yeah, let's do it again later on in the year. See where the Falcons are.
Okay, good.
You guys both did great.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Coach. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. See you guys.
Right. Yes, sir. Now, Mike, we got to show some love to our other sponsor, Elbow Golf. Live boldly, overcome weakness is what it stands for. And, you golf a little bit, I golf a little bit, not as much as we'd like because we're so busy. But when we do golf, we want to look good when we're out there golfing. So elbowgolf.com, LBOW golf.com, use code Ovie, get 15% off, enjoy some nice gear. So when you're golfing, you're not looking like everybody else. You got to be able to be fresh, be clean, stand out a little bit, man. So Mike, when you golf, you look good, correct?
Correct. When they normally say you look good and play good, it doesn't work in golf.
That's true, but at least elbow golf, you can look good. To play good, we can't help you out with that, But look good part, elbow golf has you. Code Ovie. Trust me, you'll thank us for it.